last speaker for the session is Jock Mackenzie from EarthWatch.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Great segue, Shannon. So Shannon's told you about the Cairns MangroveWatch program, and I'm going to be talking to how that program began, how we got to that point, and where we're going into the future. So my name's Jock Mackenzie. I work at EarthWatch. I'm also the director and founder of the MangroveWatch program, which was founded in collaboration with Dr. Norm Duke. And yeah, I like mangroves and salt marsh a lot. All right, where's the clicker thing? Here we go. So I'd just like to firstly acknowledge the Wurundjeri and Bunurong traditional owners of this land and pay my respect to traditional custodians all across the coast, and acknowledge that their role in protecting mangroves and salt marsh they've been caring for those ecosystems for tens of thousands of years and play a pivotal role in continuing to do so. So yep, that's me and at the beginning of my mangrove journey, because the MangroveWatch story is also my story in a lot of ways. So that was my first ever mangrove research experience in Mackay. I think you can pick me out there, hopefully. But before that, I was studying agricultural science and political science at university. Didn't know what a mangrove was. And I got an internship with the Department of Primary Industries, because that was agriculture, but it just happened to be in the fisheries habitat unit, looking at marine plant protection. So it was all about the legislation around protecting marine plants under the Fisheries Act and ensuring that that policy was implemented. And it was through that experience I was like, okay, we've got all these great laws that are protecting mangroves and salt marshes, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of damage happening out there that we're having to report on. So thought, well, we obviously need more knowledge around these habitats. So went back to do more research at the University of Queensland, because they offered a scholarship to study salt marsh. And I thought, well, we can get more knowledge. So it was through that experience with the government and university sort of framework that I saw that we know mangroves are protected, and they're certainly valuable ecosystems. They protect the Great Barrier Reef. They provide billions of dollars of fisheries value, support wildlife, biodiversity, carbon store, you name it. They're superheroes of the coast as far as habitat goes. But the science is very clear that these habitats are vulnerable to climate change impacts. And going around the place, it's easy to see that despite our knowledge and despite the legislation, we're still not very good at managing these habitats. And there's a whole lot of things that people are doing that are impacting both the value and also the capacity of these habitats to respond to climate change. And it's these local impacts that need local solutions. So that's where the MangroveWatch program was born from. But it's not like we suddenly went, I know what, we need a citizen science program to address these local impacts. It was much more of a circuitous route. So through the University of Queensland, when I was doing my PhD, I started a project with the Burnett Mary Regional Group, and I'm indebted to Sue Sargent there for supporting that back in the day. She's our MangroveWatch enabler, I guess, in the room. So we were looking at how does catchment land use impact mangrove habitats across a number of estuaries around Bundaberg. And there was a lot of shoreline, and I was out there in boats looking at things, measuring things, and we were doing this scoring system, and with a laptop going along and intensely monitoring. And then someone said, well, why don't you film the shorelines? That'd be a lot easier. I was like, oh yeah, good idea. And then someone else was like, why don't you get other people to film the shorelines for you? I thought, great, that's even better, because as you know, there's not very many mangrove scientists, and there's a lot of mangroves. So that's where the MangroveWatch program started from. We thought, well, if we can get community involved to collect the data, we'll be able to use that data to inform the reports and so we were able to write a report and collect that information. So that was based at the University of Queensland, and from there I then moved up to James Cook University because Norm got a job up there, so I followed him. And we continued the MangroveWatch program, and it was a very science-driven program. So we're out there based in a university. We wanted to collect data to feed into reports and scientific knowledge about what's happening with mangroves. So lots of detailed technical reports on mangrove data collected by the community. And I'm not sure anyone has read some of those reports. So there was a lot of work by both the community and ourselves as the scientists behind the program to create them. So yeah, it was then that the program moved to EarthWatch in 2019. So that was possibly a better fit for a citizen science program because EarthWatch is all about empowering people to save the natural world through citizen science. So it was at the time when we moved the program to EarthWatch, through my role at EarthWatch, we were working with CAFNEC to do a review of the MangroveWatch citizen science program that had been going there since 2016. And there was a few outcomes from that review in that we had lots and lots of volunteers. This was across the board of all our MangroveWatch programs, but volunteer retention was low. So people would come on for about 3 years and then drop off. And all that technical reporting and data writing reports was slow to generate feedback to the community. And there was a disconnect between the outcomes we were producing and what the people wanted. People were, like Shannon said, they didn't just want to watch mangroves, they wanted to do something about it. No one wants to monitor the decline of the environment that you know and love. You want to get in there and do something about what you see. And there was lack of those clear management pathways. So that's where the local action plan process was born from. Thanks, Shannon, for covering that. But like she said, it's about bringing together not just that traditional Western scientific knowledge, but bring in the other different knowledge sets to generate outcomes that deliver real and tangible outcomes for the environments which people are volunteering their time to collect data on. And then a key component of that as well was ensuring that that data does go to the report card, so people can see immediately that their volunteer time is making a contribution not just to their local environment but to regional and national level approaches to management. So we're also constantly adapting our program now as well, so listening to what people want to monitor through that process, so understanding not just, we've got our stock standard methods, but we're also developing methodology in partnership with community and scientists as well in response to their needs. So working with a lot of the traditional owner groups, they're talking about there's fewer crabs in the ecosystem than there used to be. The mangroves are quiet. So we then have come up with a mangrove crab monitoring program called Crabby Eye, which is also a great way to engage younger people because crabs are much more exciting than trees, and with the boat-based methodology it's hard to get a lot of people and larger groups on board, particularly younger folks. And we've also been working with some scientists who are macrobenthic, sort of little creatures that live in the mangroves, and understanding that there's really not that much data on those organisms in the mangroves, and that we have a lack of understanding of what's called functional diversity, so the different roles that different critters play in the environment. So we've developed the CritterQuest approach, which again is another way to engage youth in collecting data on mangrove habitats. Oh, you didn't bring Cheryl. Oh, we have Cheryl, who's Captain Carbon Crab, and that's this is Captain Carbon Crab and her mangrove mates. That's right. If you do go to the EarthWatch stand, you'll get to meet Cheryl. She's now our mascot. Handing out leaves. She should be eating the leaves. So it's constantly having a program that is adaptive to meet the needs of the people who are involved in it, and also looking at ways to increase our engagement. So 2024 was a hugely successful year for our program. On the back of the local action plan model, we've been rolling that program out in other regions, so in the Mackay and Townsville region, and also working specifically with Indigenous ranger groups to use that same model to develop Indigenous-led tidal wetland management plans. And I guess that's in response to the fact that there's some knowledge that those groups don't want to necessarily share more broadly with the community, and they'd like to have their own approach. So last year we worked across 34 different estuaries, and with those estuaries, that means that there's local stewardship happening across nearly 120,000 hectares of coastal wetlands across Queensland and New South Wales. And working a lot with traditional owners, and also through our youth programs and education programs that we've been developing. So thanks to Loretta and the team at EarthWatch for helping develop those programs. We now have lesson plans that can engage youth, as well as student leadership programs. So through the local action plan, that also translates to 15 hectares of direct restoration. So there's a lot of action happening, and 2025 is possibly going to be even bigger. So I've just come back from running some local action plan workshops in Mackay and Townsville, and I've noticed a real shift in what's happening. After running these kind of events for lots and lots of years, is that we're starting to get the stakeholders turn up, the delivery stakeholders, the decision makers turn up. So the people who can actually deliver the programs that we're developing through the local action plan. And that's something that's new, right? Usually it's been like citizen science, great, nice MangroveWatch program. It's like they're actually turning up because they want to take the programs that are being developed by the community and implement them. That's specifically what one of the natural resource management bodies said to us, is like, we're here to listen to what the outcomes are, and we're going to take those programs.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, we're going to take those programs and deliver them on the ground. So that's on the back of the success of the CAFNEC model, showing that program is being successfully implemented there, having real tangible outcomes for the environment, is having ripple effects more broadly. Is that time? I thought I had 2 minutes. Oh, well, anyway. So, I mean, I guess there's a lot of work going in here, and we often talk about what motivates the community, but what motivates us as citizen science practitioners. And for me, that's all about the people and ensuring that I'm giving credit to their hard efforts, all that hard work that they're contributing their time to protect the environment, and having good local coordinators who are passionate as well, like with Theo at the back there, is really important in this process as well, to ensure that motivation with the community still happens. So that's what keeps me going. So for the future, it's about engaging the youth. We really need to empower the youth. I swore I'd never work with youth with both my parents as teachers, but it's really clear that if we're going to be making decisions about the future, we have to activate and empower the youth voice. And so we're really working hard to bring along these, not just engage the youth in citizen science activities, but bring them along to the workshops so that they can also contribute their ideas and express their vision for the future. So when we're developing our local action plans, they're not just informed by the science, they're also guided by the vision for the future that these youth are, that they want to see. What will their mangroves and salt marsh look like in 20 years? And I think for the future, one last point. This is where I would like to see that rather than having citizen science programs supported by traditional owner groups, that we have Indigenous-led citizen science programs supported by the community, because Indigenous rangers and traditional owners are best placed to deliver the outcomes for the environment, because they have that capacity within their groups to act on those programs. Thank you.